Hello and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Marte. I come from Norway and I love makeup, especially indie makeup and sparkly makeup. And today I am showing you the Cosmic Brushes Sinister Mystery Box, which it looks like this when you get it, and I already took all the stuff out from it. The presentation was really nice. You could see here where the products were laying, like the palette in the middle, the blushes and the lipsticks on the side. So I hope I'll be able to repurpose this box because it looks really cool. But enough about the box. The products are obviously what's most interesting, and it does have the Sinister palette, which is a very simple yet, I guess, impressive packaging. It looks like this on the inside. It's such a cool color story. It's kind of gothic and vampy, so I do really like that. I don't necessarily have it much like this. I did get the Freya 86 palette that is coming to me from Sea Beauty Mall, but in the meantime I do have this one, which is really cool. They did also bring 3 blush butters. That is a new product for them, and also the lipsticks that come in these silvery packagings, just like the blushes. They come in this packaging. The only negative thing is that you can see all the finger marks on them, but I don't necessarily mind that. So I'm going to be showing you 2 tutorials with the palette. I am also showing you the application of one of the blushes, one of the lipsticks, and all of the swatches, of course, of all the products is gonna be the first thing that you'll see. So let's just get started with that. So I'm just going to start out with the lipsticks. So we have the lightest one. It's called Clarice or Clarice. I don't know how to pronounce it, but it is a very, I would say, kind of light nude, but it's also very muted, almost grayish, which is really cool in my opinion. And then we have Salem. You can see that it's more of a burnt orangey red, and I've already worn this and I really did enjoy it. You can just see here how beautiful that shade is, and I find that if you build it up, it does get a little bit darker. I think you can see that a little bit here, but I did love the formula. It's quite long lasting, but I do have to apply a little bit more on the inner parts of my lips. Last but not least, we have the shade Nancy right here. It's like a blackened brown or red. It's very dark but very cool. What is this swatch though? So I really do like the color combinations here. It's very gothic, very dark, grungy, and a bit vampy. I do think it's a really great choice. I think it would have been really cool with a red too, but they did actually launch that with the holiday collection, which I also ordered, so I'm very excited to try that. But I think this is really it's just a really nice color selection. I do picture myself wearing all of these, so that's a very big plus when you get a mystery box. Because I didn't already say it, but obviously I did not know any other products when I ordered this, but I just had a feeling it was going to be good, and I never really order mystery boxes, so I was very pleasantly surprised with this one. Now for the blushes, there are 3 colors, but they don't have any names as far as I can see, but you do have this really awesome purple blush, which is very exciting, and these are called blush butters, and they definitely feel very emollient and balmy once you use them. But I'm just going to show you them all first before I swatch them. So that was the purple one. You then have a slightly more rosy reddish one, which I've been enjoying the most, I think. And then they also have this lighter pink shade, which is also very nice, but probably not as versatile as the other ones, especially when it goes to using them on different skin tones. But for me, this is really nice. So I'm just going to swatch these lightly on my hand, so you can just see the consistency of the blush butter here. It's very emollient, and I'll just swatch them horizontally here. I think you can see it's very light, but I think that's perfect for like the gothic makeup look, because either you go very light dusty with the colors, or you go very dark red and vampy, I feel like. So that was the pink one, and then I'm going to swatch the red one, which is the one I like the most. It is such a beautiful color, so let's swatch that one here. You can just see how pigmented this is. I'm pointing that out later too when I'm applying it, but you really don't need a lot of this product. And last but not least, I'm very curious about this and how it looks like, because I haven't swatched it yet. I feel like it's going to look maybe a little bit more magenta once I swatch it on my hand, but we will see. So I'm going to place it right here. It feels a little bit more waxy than the others, but maybe it's just because I didn't warm it up as much as I did with the others. But this definitely looks like a quite wearable purple to me. It looks very nice. So those are the lipsticks and the blush butters. Very exciting. I think all of these products are really nice, so it's exciting to see that they are coming out with more colors in these ones. And although these are not available as single products, the new holiday products are. So if you're interested in these formulas, then definitely check them out on their website. Now, before the swatches of the palette, I'm going to show you a little bit close up. Here is the multi-chrome. Very shifty and beautiful. So some of the shimmers here are also quite sparkly, and especially this shade, so stunning. Multi-chrome as well. We have the silver, there's a sparkly satin black, like a satin black with some sparkles. And then this one is a light pink, but it's almost a bit iridescent. And then of course the red shimmery shade, which is a little bit more on the satin side. So all in all, a very interesting palette. Here we have the swatches of the eyeshadow palette. It is such a cool color story. So here we have it a bit more close up, and I'm lighting with my flashlight from the side, and I absolutely love the first shade. It's so cool with that orange to green shift with a slightly more grayish base. It's very unique. I think all of the mattes are just very pigmented and swatch beautifully. And just look at like the red. It reminds me of the red from the Poppy Storm palette from Titanium Foxes. It's just super pigmented, and also this blood red, so beautiful. We have this silver that I've used several times in this video already. The purple is so beautiful. And then the black here is more of a satin, but it does have a lot of silver sparkles to it, so it's very beautiful as well. This one is such a stunning multi-chrome. You can definitely see that shift from purple to gold to orange and green. It's very beautiful. You also have this one, super shiny light pink shade, and the last one here is more of a satin, but it's a true red, which I love. It reminds me of Odin's Eye Leon. It's just that this one is not as deep and not as sparkly. So all in all, I think this is a beautiful, beautiful palette. Very murky, gothic and vampy, but it does have some really interesting shades in it. So happy that I got this whole mystery box. And it was a pleasant surprise to see that it was something unique and something I don't already have. So those were the swatches. Now let's go to the looks that I created with the palette. Now for this look with the Sinister palette, I was thinking I'd use the gray tones, and I really like this deep blackened purpley shade. So I'll maybe use a little bit more of the purple tones, but I'm definitely using this one, and I suppose I'll deepen everything up with this, and I'll use either this or this, and I might use a little bit of this shiver shade because it's a very light pink shade, which I like because it's so sparkly. So I'm just gonna start out with a little bit of this in the inner and outer corner to make a halo eye. I'm taking the shade Ominous, and I'm not gonna add it way too high up because this is a very deep shade. I think I'll go a little bit deeper and more excessive, I guess, tomorrow, because today I'm going to work and I don't know, I don't want too much of a dramatic look when I do that. Ooh, but this is applying so nicely, and I'm using the base from Glam shop that is called, what is it even called? Gel eyeshadow base, this one. I'm just trying it out a bit more because I usually just use my Smashbox primer, but this one is really gripping to the shadows. The only thing that's worrying me a bit is that you can like see that it's a bit shiny, so maybe I will get some creasing, I don't know. But I've been using it the past days and it's been okay, so just trying it more. So I think I'm happy with the placement of this shadow now. By the way, I forgot to mention that I'm using my Cosmic Beauty brush number 3 from that purple brush set, and I really like these brushes, so I definitely recommend them if you are interested in getting some new brushes. Anyway, I'm taking the shade Crypt, which is that gray shade, and I'm just applying that on like the edges of the shadow I just applied. And I'm also going to use this on the lower lash line. This shade is really deepening up on top of this gel eyeshadow base, but I do really like how these shades are blending out. They're just looking really, really nice. But now that I've done the shade Crypt, I'm taking that lightest pink purple shade called Paranormal. And I'll be using that here in the middle. And of course I'm blending it into the shades I already used. Now I'm ready to apply the shimmer, and I'm just going to start out with this shade Chilling. Then I might use a little bit of Haunted and Shiver, but I'll just see how it looks like with this one first. And I'm just going to apply it with my finger. And that is a very pretty silver. It's not excessively sparkly, which I guess is okay. I mean, I do have some very sparkly metallics from Glam Shop's collection, so I don't necessarily need more of that, but it would be nice with super sparkly shadows in a palette too. As you can see now, I'm just applying this in the very middle, and I'm kind of blowing it out a bit upwards, and I'm making sure not to apply it way too much over those deepest areas of the mattes. I mean, this is looking really pretty and very cool. I would love some more sparkles though, so maybe I should try to add a little bit of the shade Shiver. I feel like that one has just a little bit more sparkles to it. It's not making too much of a difference, to be honest. But the color fits very nice because now it's like a silver mixed with a very light pink, so it just complements the undertones of the mattes a little bit more. But I think I'm pretty happy with how this is looking regardless, so I think I'll just leave it at this. Maybe I'll add some shimmer right here. I'll just finish off the other eye first and see. Here is the finished look, and I really love how it turned out. I don't really have that many palettes with these kind of like gothic colors, and very muted, and yeah, just a mix of like purple and red, so I think it's very interesting. And I do really like this look, and the mattes are just performing so well. I'd say the shimmers are a little bit boring, but they do give you that little bit of sparkle, so they're definitely really beautiful once you get them on the eye. It's just that, for example, for me, I'm more used to multichromes and super sparkly makeup, so if you are more into that, you might be a little bit underwhelmed by them. But as you can see, like in the inner corner here, I did use that first shade in the palette, which does have a lot of beautiful sparkles to it, so I did do another look with it, but I don't think I filmed anything of it, so I can show you a picture of that look with this shade from the inner corner all over the lid. And I really did like that look. It was very simple, very neutral, I would say, but with those extra sparkles. But I really do like the placement with the halo eye. I think it's just very kind of sultry, I guess. But that was the first look I filmed, I think. So let me show you the other one. Now for the next look, I really want to combine grays with red, and I was thinking I'd try to use, this one, the shimmery red. It looks more of a satin kind of shade, but I might add this multichrome. You can't really see the shift right now, but it is a purple to green multichrome, and I might just add a little bit of that, or maybe just some of the sparkly ones here. And I think I will focus on using like maybe a little bit of the black, the gray, and this more white kind of color, just to get really like a contrast between the red and the grayish black. So I'm actually starting off with the shade Bone, which is that white color, and you can see I'm placing it in the very inner corner, and then I'm just blending it out on the brow bone and basically just around the whole eye, because I do want a lot of contrast. Not necessarily that I want the look to be super dark, I just want it to be like a soft kind of gothic look if I'm able to. We will just have to see if I'm able to make something like that. But I just figured I would start with this shade because I always tend to use a skin colored or white colored shade for these areas on my eye. And that was, by the way, my 007 brush from Glam Shop. Now I'm going into my Cosmic Brushes brush CB1. And with that brush, I'm taking the shade Crypt, which is the gray shade. And I think I'm going to do something a little bit similar like the shape I did yesterday with the more purpley gray look. and do a kind of halo effect. I just think that looks really nice. So I'm placing this shade in the inner and outer corners and just buffing it out. As I said, I don't necessarily want it super dark, but I do want some contrast. Now, I'm not sure how much of it I want to use, but I'm taking that black shade on my R107 brush from What's Up Beauty, and I'm just gonna start out with like a winged shape, and I'll just have to see how much I'm going to smudge it out. And this is just a perfect brush for detailed work because it's so pointy. I just love it. Now I do want to try something a bit different, so I'm actually taking that black and I'm just going to place it here. You can kind of already see where the highlighted area of the tear duct is, like here. So I'm going to try, and I should have probably just went with a gray first, but I can just blend it out. But I'm going to just place this right underneath and try to make it a quite sharp line. And as you can see, I'm kind of playing on that line that I created here in the outer corner. I think that's looking really cool actually. So I'm very happy with that. I don't know how much I want to darken up the inner and outer corners. I am going to use the red though, so I feel like I should darken it up a little bit. I think I'm going to switch to my Cosmic Brushes 3 brush from that purple set. The other brush I was using was also that purple set. And I'm just taking a little bit of the black, just to deepen up a little bit in the inner and outer corners. I have to say the shadows are blending so well together, and I think the plan for this look now is to go for the silver in the middle, but then the red on the sides, just to get a very much like a pop of a color. So I'm probably going to place the red almost all over the lid, and then the silver kind of like as the beam going through. I kind of did this off camera, but I'm just gonna apply a little bit more, but I'm using the shade Bone where I want the lightest colors to be of the shimmers. And again, I'm just blending to get a softer kind of look, although this is quite sharp in a way, but I'm just gonna work a little bit on that. I feel like I did add a little bit too much of the gray right here, but maybe I will just cover it up with shimmer anyway, and it doesn't have to be super neat. I think it's gonna be okay anyway, and I do love to use my shimmer quite blown out, although I don't have full opacity all over. I do like to blend it upwards. And I feel like I'm actually ready for the shimmer now, so I'm going to take my Glam glue from Glam Shop, just a tiny bit. I feel like the trick with this one is to not use too much. So I'm just gonna place a little bit there and slightly tap it out, and mostly focus on getting it where the crease is, because that's where I have creasing obviously. And now I think I'm just gonna start out with the silver shade. It is so pretty. And as you can see, I'm just placing it just where I placed the white shade, blowing it out a bit here. And I think for the red, I need a detailed brush. I think my WG4 brush from Stassi Alex will do the trick, because although it's a little bit bigger, it has a kind of pointed tip, so I feel like I'm going to be able to get the placement that I want. And then I'm just gonna apply the red here. And you know, these colors are reminding me so much of Freya 86 palette with, what is it called, Kianyan or Sheriep? I don't know. I actually ordered it though from C Beauty Mall, so I'm very excited for that order to come. And Freya and Ghoul in Japan on Instagram are just inspiring me a lot with these kind of gothic looks, because they do it, or at least Ghoul in Japan makes very soft gothic looks, sometimes a bit editorial, but very inspiring to me. And Freya just makes these super, sometimes grungy, colorful gothic looks, which I also just adore so much. So now I have placed most of the red shade, oops. So I'm just gonna go back in with the silver and overlap it a bit, because I do want the silver to be most prominent and the red to just be a pop of red on both sides. And I think I want to do like yesterday and add a little bit of that pink, because it's not super opaque in color, so it just gave a little bit more sparkle to the look. So I think I'm just gonna grab a tiny bit of that. Something like this. I mean, I think it just looks so cool with that pop of red, because although it's not that much, you can just see it very subtly, I feel like, which I enjoy. I'm just wondering if I should add something red right here to kind of like fill out the gap here. I do also like to have it open, but I'm just gonna think it over while I do the other eye, and we'll just see if I do something there. I feel like it would be flattering to have something a little bit deeper than just skin tone at least. So I think what I'm going to do for the lower lash line is to take the multichrome shade right on the sides here, because it's quite dark, so I might just blend out a little bit of the gray tone right here, the shade Crypt first. But then I want to use the silver and maybe again a little bit of the white, no it's not white, the pink shade right here, just to get a kind of like a beaming effect also on the lower lash line. So I think I'll just start out with the shade Crypt. So I'm just gonna blend that slightly here. Then I'm going to take the silver, and I'm just using my finger because I want it to kind of be a little bit messy. Something like that. And then I am taking a very detailed brush. I'm using my Glam Shop, what is it called? 000. Looks like this. So it's a flat brush, but still a little bit fluffy. And I'm just taking a bit of that multichrome shade, and I want that right up to the corner here. I kind of like it. So I'm just gonna finish off the rest of my makeup. I think I'm going to just pack the shade Bone in the inner corners here, and I will show you the close-up with some flashlight, of course. Now here is the final look. I think it looks really cool, and I love the pops of warm, and just look at that multichrome I put on the outer corner of the lower lash line. You can really see that golden green shift. And I think these are so beautiful. Even though they're not excessively sparkly, you can still see all of those small beautiful sparkles. I really do feel like this look kind of encompasses the whole palette because of the grungy kind of black and white and red vibes, which I really love. And I think this would be perfect if you like gothic makeup, or if you just like cool tones with a pop of red or purple. I think this palette is beautiful and definitely makes for a fun playtime with makeup. Now, I have not yet put on any blush. I think this one would look really cool, but since it is cool toned, I think I want to rather use this one, which complements the red in my makeup look. You can see that I've already tried these two, and I do love them. They're very pigmented and very balmy, and they blend very beautifully. So I'm just taking a little bit, and often when I do makeup on camera I do use a little bit extra because it doesn't show up as much, but I'm just going to apply this here. You can just see that from that little I still have so much left. I'll just try to apply it a bit on this other side too. But you can see that a little bit really does go a very long way. And I'm using my Norrsken foundation from what is it called? IDUN Minerals, I think. And it's just very glowy, as you can see, but I really do like that lately. But this is the blush. I think it just gives a very glowy, natural finish. Really, really pretty, and I love the color. Just since I'm on camera, I'm going to apply a little bit more. So I just took like one more swipe, and you can see it's just very, very pigmented. But once I zoom out, you're not really going to see it that well. And for lipstick, I want to try the deepest one. It's called Nancy, and I think this is going to look like a warm black on me because I'm very pale. So I'm going to find a lip liner to use with it. Now, I do actually have a black lip liner. I think it's from the brand Matteify. I doubt that they're still a brand because I think I bought these, I think it's like a couple of years ago when they were doing a sale because they were shutting down, I think. I'm just gonna use a little bit of it though. So now I do have that black lip liner down, so I'm going to apply Nancy. This is definitely looking quite black. And with this dark of a lipstick, I think I have to clean up the edges a bit. So I'll just find a brush or something and do that. So I think that's good enough for me. It looks really dark but very cool and very opaque, which is really nice with these kind of colors, that they're actually opaque. Okay, so that was the second look that I filmed, and this is very editorial, very gothic, but I do kind of love it. I would never wear this outside though. I mean, maybe if going out, but not to work or anything. But I do really love it, and the products are just great. I do love the lipsticks. I already used the lipstick shade Salem to work, and I really did like that. It does turn darker as you apply more of it, but I've really enjoyed playing with this palette. You do have a lot of options in here, either if you want to go a little bit more neutral or if you want to go colorful with the reds and the purples, and also if you just want to go a more gothic kind of way. So I do think that the colors in here are very nice. I am very curious about this shade here, but it's a gloss. It's called Ghost, and they did say in a comment, I'm pretty sure I saw it, that this one is not something that's going to last a long time. It's more just for editorial looks where you're just going to take a photo or do some videos and then you're done. So it doesn't necessarily have a long lasting power, but I think that's fine. Other than that, I will say I love this shade maybe the most. It's very unique. It's like an orange iridescent multichrome, but with a gray kind of multi or holographic base, if that makes any sense. So I think it's a very cool palette, and I definitely recommend you to get it if it's still available. And honestly, I've just been loving all of their new collections in those boxes, like the holiday collection too. It's just so beautiful and I can't wait to get it. So I just really wanted to show you this collection on my YouTube because it's just so cool. But I think that's it for this video. I do hope that you enjoyed the looks that I created and also the swatches, so that you can see all the products and how they look. I'm curious to know what you think of this collection, if you got it yourself, and what you then think of it, because obviously none of us knew how it was looking before we got it, at least if you got it in the first round. So do leave me a comment down below if you have any thoughts you want to share. Other than that, I thank you so much for watching, and hopefully I will see you in my next video. Bye!